Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Royal Instinct. Today we're going to be watching a video about Joe Rogan and the guest he had on recently about why Gen Z have menu anxiety. And it sounds funny. I'm laughing as I am speaking it. But the truth is, what is menu anxiety is the decision fatigue. It is the inability to make decision and worried about making wrong choices. Because Gen Z feel more and more that uh, there are real life consequences to their actions, and in truth, there are. We live in a time of uncertainty. We live in difficult times. We don't know where we are headed because the map of the world, and I don't mean the geographic map, but the actual terrain of how to operate within the world is ever changing. We live in a time where AI is upon us. AI will displace most of humanity, take away most of people's jobs, and a lot of people will be left hurt. A lot of people will be left jobless. A lot of people will not make it to the next phase of human evolution. And what that means is the elites are taking total control. The elites want you locked up, owning nothing, and literally just remain in your room until you fizzle out of existence. And the elites want to rule and control all of the world's population and resources, and this manifests in anxiety within Gen Z, and not just in menu anxiety, but just a general anxiety, social anxiety, because Gen Z aren't socializing in real life. They're not going outside. They're not taking risks. They are not trying new things. They are waiting to be spoon fed and told what to do, and then therefore have the inability and incapacity to try something and see what the outcome is. But let's get into this video. Let's see what this person has to say.
42% of kids have a mental health diagnosis.
Yeah. Do you know
42?
there was just a news article saying that 86% of them think they have menu anxiety.
Menu anxiety.
That's ordering from a menu in a restaurant.
What?
And you have to think, why is there menu anxiety? What is it? What is so scary about ordering in a restaurant? Well, first of all, when you go to a restaurant, you get a fucking menu. I hope you're watching. I hope you've been to a fucking restaurant, right? So you get a menu, right? And there's different options, okay, right? And then you sit there and you're like, oh, I like this, I don't like that. Oh, that sounds interesting. I might try that. And then you'll be like, right, if you're very adventurous, you try something new. If you're very conservative, if you know what you like and you stick to it, you see, steak and fries. I'll just go with that. Okay, and it's very easy. It's very easy for you to pick something off a menu. If you're adventurous, you try something new. If oh yeah, I like lamb, I don't like lamb. I like beef, I don't like beef. It's very easy to come to a conclusion. A lot of Gen Z are not willing to try new things. They are not willing to take the risk of choosing something that they don't like, and then the fear of being stuck with that meal for the rest of dinner, and then they don't want to sift through options, okay, because there is a fear of missing out if they stick to something that they've already had. But then the trade-off is that they don't get to experience this new experience, and then it's like, well, the consequence of picking the new experience could be that I don't like the food. And then there's another layer of dealing with the waiting staff, the person who takes your order, and having to interact and talk to him. Most of Gen Z, stay in their rooms. They don't leave. They talk to their friends online via video games, via their mobile phones. And having to speak to a real life human is scary to these people because they've never done it. Now someone like me who, I'm a millennial. I grew up in the 90s. We were out and about. We were playing with other children, interacting with other humans. So it becomes part of your nature. It becomes normal to do it. But if you are a Gen Z child, if you are locked in your room at all times, not experiencing the world, not putting yourself out there, then you miss out on that on that experience of socializing.
They have a friend order for them.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I mean,
Hang on. If 86% of Gen Z have menu anxiety and they get a friend to order for them, that means what? There's 16% of people who are doing the ordering. That doesn't kind of make sense. It's so you have a group of friends, like five, like so in a group of 10 people, there might be one or two people who do the ordering on behalf of everybody. It doesn't sound make sense, because if you are confident enough to have a friend, if you're confident enough to sit in a restaurant with 10 people, right, then you would have the confidence to speak to a fucking waiter. Something doesn't make sense there.
these are kids who think of themselves as unwell.
Menu anxiety? Really? That's a thing?
I mean, climate anxiety, summer anxiety, when your parents move, dislocation depression. They call it
Summer anxiety?
Summer anxiety.
So here it is. 42% of Gen Z diagnosed with a mental health condition. Jeez, Louise.
That's a lot.
That's crazy.
Right?
But that's what my question would be, was like, what is that internationally? Like when you're dealing with other countries.
Oh, it's much better internationally. I mean, there's no question. We have the most anxious and most depressed teens and adolescents.
And what caused that? Is that the rise of this industry? The rise of the therapy industry? Is it something that is in the zeitgeist?
I mean, Gen Z are feeling hopeless. Gen Z are feeling that they don't have a chance in the world. And, you have to ask, what has happened for them to make them feel like this? It's because they are living out their lives online, and if you are living your life out online, you are exposed to other people's success. You are exposed to other people's you're exposed to bad news at all times. So they live in a much more fearful reality. They live in a much more hopeless society, in essence. If all you're seeing online is bad news and multimillionaires living luxury lives, and then you look at your own life and think like, well, why am I not living a good life like that? You're gonna put it down to that I'm not worthy or something. These kids are, if they have more and more anxiety, then they probably got more. They got less and less self-esteem as well. And they don't have the confidence to go out into the real world and try new things.
Where people in this culture sort of gravitate towards that sort of thinking, that therapy and talking it through is very important. Like, what is it?
I think we're not giving them a healthy life. And that includes, it's like, remember they used to give us with sugar cereals? They used to say like there'd be a bowl of sugar cereal and there'd be like eggs and toast and orange juice. And they would say, Frosted Flakes, part of a nutritious breakfast.
Right.
Right? And we knew it was bad for us, but we had these other healthy things around us.
I don't think we knew it was bad for us when I was a kid.
Frosted Flakes?
I never thought it was bad
really?
for you. Well, we didn't know sugar was bad for you.
Well,
we thought it'd give you cavities. That was the only thing anybody worried about.
But I mean, kids weren't allowed. I mean, at least in my house, we weren't allowed to have sugar.
I'm a little older than you. I'm 10 years older than you.
Okay, so we weren't allowed to have sugar cereal, and the best thing we ever got was Honey Nut Cheerios. That was like a miracle. When that came in, it was so exciting.
We used to put sugar on our Frosted Flakes.
I mean, that's the other thing. It's like they're talking about the old times and their cereal options or whatever, right? Frosted Flakes and Honey Nut Cheerios. We live in the times where we have more options than ever. We have endless. I mean, just go to the fucking cereal aisle in your supermarket and you'll see that it's just endless options. Okay, and because when you have more and more options, you feel like choosing the wrong thing could lead to drastic failure. And that is when it comes to ordering your food, that comes in ordering your cereal. And it also comes in the form of what you're going to do in the future. If you pick the wrong field, is that field going to be relevant in 10 years time from now? Because AI is coming. AI is going to displace most of humanity. AI is going to displace most of people's jobs. um it happens in dating. It's like if you go on Tinder, you think you have unlimited options. If you go on Hinge or Bumble, one of these fucking apps, and you end up making no choice because you're like, oh, I'll just wait for a better option. There might be something better coming in the future. And in the end, you suffer because you make no option, you make no progress in your life
You
whatsoever.
were allowed to have sugar and put
That's
sugar on
I
everything.
love that.
Yeah, when in my generation, people
Okay.
ate sugar all the time, and there was no fear. It was just brush your teeth. I know it's
that's amazing.
psychotic,
Yeah.
but obviously the story behind that. That was all because of the sugar industry bribing scientists
I didn't know that.
to pass the blame on saturated fat. Yeah, because sugar was causing heart disease. It was causing all sorts of problems that people were having. It was causing obesity. And the sugar industry bribed some scientists in the 1960s to pass the blame onto saturated fat. And that's where margarine came from and all that other stupid shit.
Right.
It's terrible for you.
Right.
Seed oils, all these different things. Canola oil that people
Right.
thought was actually better for you.
Right.
But it's not. It's not better for you at all. Your body doesn't even know how to digest that shit.
Right. So we've given kids worse diet over the
Yeah.
years. We've given them,
Processed foods.
Yeah, we've given them less exercise. We've given them less connection to family, people, relational stability, having this set of friends or relatives who are around, cousins around you, grandparents who love you unconditionally over your life. Kids don't have that anymore. They don't have the neighborhood. And they don't have space from mom.
There's a saying that it takes an entire village to raise a child. And that is true. We are losing our sense of community. We are losing our communities. I grew up in a little village in Germany, which is where people knew, they knew each other. They walk past each other every day, and they'll stop and say hello. Now, people, they go to work and drive straight to the homes and then never leave. Right, they're socialized with a select few people that they do online. And that is it. Right, that there is no interaction with real people. There is no love and affection, or a sense of belonging to a group of people. um like my grandparents, they're from India, right? And I grew up here in the West, so I never had that connection to my grandparents. I met them a few times in my life, but it was like, um okay, like they're here for like a week, I'm here for 2 weeks maybe, and then we get to know each other, and then move on. And it's like, there isn't this consistent reliance. You're not building communities, you're not building friendships, you're not building this a sense of love and a sense of belonging. And once you remove that from a person's life, is they become ever self-dependent. And a lot of the time people can't, you need someone older, you need somebody to show you, to help you choose, to pick a few things, to go through different decision making processes, to see what is right, what is wrong, what is a good fit for you. And if you don't have somebody to help you with that, that pressure is just all on yourself. Having a parent, having, like an older brother, having an older cousin, you know pick a few things and see, like, try this, try that, and then you try and emulate somebody who's older than you. Gives you the confidence to try something. Do you get what I mean? So a lot of these kids, I mean, they were locked up for a couple of years, during 2020, during that whole phase. And then they come into the world, and then they end up with menu anxiety. Are you even surprised that they have menu anxiety? Do you get what I mean? So it's a difficult place where we're at. It's a difficult situation. But here on Royal Instinct, we are trying to build a community. We are trying to build friendship. We are trying to build connections. I'm looking for 100 people who understand what I'm talking about, who want to be part of my movement. I'm trying to build my kingdom, because I realize that the only way to survive the next phase of evolution is to have unlimited money and to have unlimited fame and power. And I don't want to be the only one who rises to the top. Okay. I enjoy friendship. I enjoy the company of friends. I enjoy celebrating success. And therefore, I'm looking for 100 people who want to go on this journey with me. right? You watching right now might think, oh, well, actually, I want to be at the top. I want to live a life of luxury, but how do I do it? Well, I'm offering coaching, I'm offering mentorship, I'm offering my method of getting it there, which is content creation, and I'll teach you how to create content. I'll teach you how to become a charismatic speaker, charismatic leader, and create enough content for you to become somebody who is known, somebody who is an influencer, somebody who can rise to the top. And once you do that, once you start making money, you'll be building your kingdom. You'll be building your kingdom, and therefore you'll be seen as a king. If you understand what I'm talking about, if you want to be part of this movement, if you want to be a king, if you want to be part of my royal alliance, if you want to be part of the 100 king network that I'm building, then reach out to me and we can work together.
Monitoring them. Or another adult she's hired to monitor them. Or the recess monitor. Or my kids have bus monitors. They have monitors everywhere. And monitoring is the same as stress for kids. In academics, wonderful academic psychologist Peter Gray told me this, that when they want to introduce stress to a subject, they introduce monitoring because it's the same thing.
Really?
That's very interesting, that. So somebody who is observed gets an injection of stress into their psyche, into their mind. You know, a lot of people, our lives are being played out online. So we are being watched all the time. And therefore, Gen Z may be feeling more paranoid, more anxious, more worried about how they're perceived. And therefore, they are scared to do the wrong thing. And that's when anxiety creeps in. Okay. Which is why I teach my clients how to be charismatic speakers, charismatic communicators, to be able to communicate and garner attention, to be able to create content, with very little effort, with just your personality, and get maximum success and maximum results.
So if they have a subject and then they're going through a test, and they have someone stand over and watch, that introduces anxiety?
That'll introduce stress. Yeah. Yeah. And that's the condition we're raising kids in. We're going to track you on your phone, even in college. Oh, how is your trip to the Rite Aid? I can see on my phone. We're doing that.
Yeah. Kids are doing it to each other.
Kids are doing it to each other.
Yeah, my daughter's, all her friends know where everyone is
Right.
on Snap Map.
Right. It's not good for them. They don't have freedom to just be.
Yeah.
So I think we're giving all kinds of things. We're making their lives less healthy. And then we just pour in the mental health resources. Oh, we're going to keep your life unhealthy, but we're going to pour in SSRIs, antidepressants. We're just going to pour in the therapy. Well, that doesn't remediate.
Have you had anybody push back on this? You said the response has been overwhelmingly positive, but what has the negative response been?
So I think that some parents feel like, it seems to be mostly moms, but some of them feel insecure. Like, well, you don't know, my kid really had sensory deprivation issues. So I really did need to see that therapist. But I don't know the situation. I mean, I think in general, parents know their own kids, right? And if they have tried other things, the problem is not parents seeking out help. The problem is it's when it's the first resort. The problem.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people, because of the ever-changing nature of the world, because of the ever-changing nature of the issues that we are dealing with, is solutions parents aren't able to give solutions anymore because they don't relate, right? Like, how can a parent who grew up in the 80s, relate to a child who's had who grew up in the last 15 years? Like, the world is completely different. The expectations for you to be perfect, for you to never make a mistake, for you to not say the wrong thing, as well, politically, is huge on these children, and they are being indoctrinated at all times. Let's just skip to this. We might go back to this video, but let's look at this video about a Gen Z and why he feels like content is becoming boring. And this might give us an insight. This might give us an insight into what these kids, how they're living.
It's June 20th, 2013. I walk back home from school through the front door of my house, put down my backpack on the bench right next to it, remove my shoes, and go straight into the house. I'm the only one home.
Hang on, let's just go back to there.
And I know that since I didn't see any cars in our driveway. And
He's the only one home. Okay. So these kids, you know, they're at school where they have to sit down. They're not allowed to talk to their friends unless it's recess or break time. So they're doing a little bit of socializing there, but then this kid comes straight home and then he is alone. Okay. So whereas in years gone by, before there'll be, you know, the mom will be waiting there, you know, your siblings will be there, and you have some sort of network around you. Okay. And we're surprised why these kids have social anxiety and menu anxiety and shit like that, because you know they spend the majority of their time by themselves.
when there's no one at home, well, there's only one thing to do, right? Yeah, I can watch YouTube videos without using headphones for once. So I grab some of my favorite snacks, jump on the sofa, and
Grab a favorite snack so it's unhealthy.
go straight into scrolling my subscriptions list on my iPod Touch 4. I also see my favorite YouTuber Etho posted a new video today. It's almost too perfect. 29 minutes and 52 seconds of excitement and pure bliss await me. It was a very simple lifestyle, really. Wake up, go to school, go home, then watch videos and play video games.
So yeah, so he wakes up, goes to school, and then he locks himself online. Okay, where's the real life interaction there? You know what I mean? He's not going to a park to play. He's not jumping around. He's not meeting friends after school. He's literally going home and locking himself onto the internet.
I was so excited every day to just come back home and enjoy those simple pleasures of life. And then I got older. I became numb to spending time on YouTube. It became sort of a routine instead of something
The thing with you know, if your routine is playing out and interacting with people, is the variables are never ending, because you know each human brings their own set of problems, their own opinions that you have to talk out and navigate, you know, and understand each other. And that's a whole mental problem, that you in real life are interacting with someone and understanding each other. Whereas if you're just passively watching a video, there's no, you can't give your feedback, be like, and stop the video and ask the person who's creating the content to explain, be like, oh, well, actually, what do you mean by this? You just have to accept it. And then therefore it's like your input doesn't matter at that point. Whereas if you're talking to a person, you know, and you're interacting with that person, then your input matters, because the other person also wants to make sure that you're understanding what they're saying. So it becomes a two-way conversation rather you just being force-fed content.
exciting to do. I think that maybe since I always watched the same type of video,
And he's watching the same type of video, so there's no growth. And of course it's going to become boring, but it becomes familiar, right? It becomes familiar, and then trying to now socialize and play with other people and talk to other people, is you know, because he hasn't done that in his younger years, he's too scared now to reveal that he doesn't know how to interact, and that ends up into a never-ending cycle of anxiousness.
I felt sort of stuck. Nothing new or exciting was happening in a phase of my life where change is often second nature. I saw watching
I mean, you know, I don't want to be mean to this guy, but you know, you can just see how monotone he is. He has no charisma. He has no expression. He's very monotone. And oh, I like to watch YouTube, and I like to do this. You know, there's no passion, no energy behind his voice. And why is that? Because he's got no practice in life, where a situation where he ever had to be passionate, because he was constantly just being spoon-fed content, right? So you don't get to develop the way you express yourself, okay? And then people say, oh, I'm an introvert. Well, it's like you never developed the extrovert part of your personality. You've never expressed yourself. You never made it clear how you're feeling. You need to convey to other people how you are feeling, who you are. And by being expressive, you can instantly do that. It doesn't even matter what you say at that point. It's just like how are you talking to people, and that is you expressing yourself. That is your charisma oozing out. And that's what I help my clients with. I help them develop charisma. I help them develop confidence in their speaking ability, to become charismatic leaders, effective communicators, so they can rise to the top, garner attention, build a following, and make shitloads of money online.
Videos as something that didn't bring me value anymore. Why waste time watching videos when I could be spending that time doing something productive instead? The responsibilities I didn't have before were now weighing on me to stop enjoying the things I once enjoyed and start
responsibilities are just part of life, but Gen Z, as you can see here, that they're trying to get away from responsibilities, which is why they end up with the inability to deal with stress, and then they end up in a scenario where they are feeling anxious, feeling depressed, feeling stressed out, and then the only alternative is for them to seek professional advice, and professional mental health professionals. That is their business for them to treat mental health issues. And if there is a never-ending situation where more and more people have mental health issues, then the more money they will make, right? Like they want to keep you as a client for as long as possible.
Is not that parents ever allow their kid to get a diagnosis. The problem is that some parents are going diagnosis shopping, because the kid, sometimes a neuropsychologist will say your kid's sorry, they're within normal range, and the parents will keep going. And they're doing it because they don't have, sometimes they're unwilling to be an authority in their home, maybe because they feel that that's traumatizing. They're unwilling to impose any kind of discipline. The kid is disordered. The kid has a lot of tech. And then lo and behold, he can't concentrate in school.
Sometimes in life, you just have to get on with it. Sometimes in life, you just have to push forward. And instead of processing your feelings, you have to acknowledge that you're feeling negative right now, but move towards a situation where you can start experiencing positive emotions. And becoming an effective communicator, becoming a charismatic leader is the only thing left for you to do. It's very enjoyable being able to express yourself charismatically, to be able to speak whatever's on your mind, to be able to to know that you have the ability to garner attention. And it creates a self-fulfilling feedback loop, and it tells you, if you're able to correctly express yourself, it also physiologically physiologically, it tells your brain that you are what you have to say is important, right? So it's something that's very important. It's the only skill that is left that you need to develop. If you want to work with me, then go to rawinstinct.com, and we can teach you how to become a more effective communicator.
And they're sure, and the teacher has a problem with him. Well, I talked to parents where they said 1 year my teacher thought my kid had ADHD, and the next year they didn't. Why would that be? And why is the teacher diagnosing the kid?
Yeah.
Let's just go back to this Gen Z kid.
Because of this new mentality, I spent more time scrolling mindlessly instead of actually doing the things I wanted to do.
I mean, just look at that vision of him just in a room.
Essentially dodging my problems. My routine when I had free time now was essentially 30 minutes spent scrolling on YouTube on the recommended page, finding nothing I wanted to watch, then going straight on Reddit to see what was happening in the world, becoming bored after another 30 minutes, and then going on a social media of my choice, most likely Instagram, since I liked watching the memes on there, and they have a pretty curated selection.
I mean, what type of life is that? You scroll half an hour on YouTube, you scroll half an hour on Reddit, and then you just look at memes all day. Like, of course, these people are socially inept, socially retarded. They have no skills, and they feel anxiety picking food off a fucking menu. If you don't want to remain a loser, if you want to become a more effective communicator, if you want to have the social confidence to speak up, to choose what the fuck you want to eat in a restaurant, then go to rawinstinct.com. learn how to become an effective communicator, learn how to become a charismatic leader, charismatic speaker, and watch your life transform, watch you build your kingdom, watch you rise to the top, become a king, and live a life of luxury. But that is it for today. Until next time, take care.